Right, everybody, we are going to talk about shape and emphasis today. So we're going to start with the element of shape, which is basically just a two-dimensional area that has edges that you know about somehow. So it's defined, meaning I can tell where it stops by either like an outline, a change in the value or color, so like a red square on a black background, or a gray square on a white background. Or you could do a texture change. So maybe I have a bumpy square on a smooth background. All of those things would tell me where the edge of my object is and where my area stops. These shapes can be things that are recognizable. They can be geometric. They can be organic. There's a bunch of different types of shapes. If I hop down for a second, come here. Geometric are going to be man-made. There are rules for making all of these things. Like a square has to have 4 equal sides that meet at right angles, and they all have to be straight lines. Circles have to have 100 or 360 degrees in them, and they have a radius that is made, their area is made by pi times the radius squared. Like we have rules, mathematical rules for how you make those shapes. The other side of this is the amorphous organic. That stuff's found in nature. There's not rules. There's not like so many angles that have to be in a thing or so many sides. Amorphous is going to be a blob, and organic is going to be the silhouette of a living thing. So plant, animal, person, that's what is going to be an organic shape. So if we pop down here to shape, you can see we have geometric labels, organic labels, and amorphous labels. So we have to label the shapes that are here. So we can say the first geometric shape is going to be our square here. The second geometric shape is that circle. The next geometric shape is that triangle. And the last geometric shape is this star right here, this 4-sided star. When it comes to organic, that's the outline of a living thing. So this deer head would count, and so would this leaf right here. For organic, there's no other ones. The last two are an amorphous cloud and an amorphous blob. Oh, that goes behind. Just kidding. Anyways, that's where that goes. You can actually right-click and order, bring to front. Ta-da! You can do the same thing with this guy up here. Order, bring to front. You can also hit the arrange button, and it orders right there, but I don't have anything clicked. I have to click on a thing first, and then arrange, order, bring to front. 2 ways to do the same thing. So that's it for shape. We're now going to move on to emphasis. So here we have to label these 5 boxes over here. If we go back to our lovely notes and go whoosh all the way towards the bottom, emphasis is the way of telling the viewer what the main part of the artwork is. It's a way of creating a focal point, a center of interest, a point of emphasis, the stuff that draws your attention. So this right here is the center point, the center of interest in this artwork right here. It's a portrait of a young man by Caravaggio. If I click down to this first one, it says you can create it by contrast. So you can have one thing that is opposite all of the things around it. So if we look at this, we have very high contrast. His face and his hands a little bit are so much lighter than everything else in the picture, especially lighter than the dark background of his shirt. So if we pop over here, we can say contrast is the one thing opposite everything else. Oh, I did it again. Bring to front. Okay. Hopping. Isolation. You can do that by, oh, I don't have the animations on. That's so sad. Isolation just means you take his friends away. I know it says placement. Pretend it says isolation. You just take all of his stuff away. If you only give the viewer one thing to look at, that's what they're going to look at. For placement, it actually has to go into the center. The middle of the picture is the area you are most likely to pay attention to. So isolation is going to be this guy right here. I'm just going to put it right here. Order. Bring to front. No! Why would we have done that? And when we make mistakes, Control Z. We're also going to do it again so I get my lovely thing back. Okay, we're going to do this real quick. Selecting all of them by clicking and dragging over all of it. Arrange, order, bring to front. Now when I bring this over, this is isolation. And this guy, sitting in the middle here, is placement. Yay. Okay, popping back over. Crisis averted. We also have this thing called converging lines. That's when the lines, both real and implied, connect at one spot. So all these lovely little rays coming out of this dude's head right here are all connecting to show you his face is the important one to pay attention. He also happens to have some contrast in the space around his head, as well as the light space behind the window highlighting his face. He also has the isolation, like this distance here, like all of these people are crowded together. So there's a lot of different ways of creating emphasis used in this artwork. But we're focusing on the converging lines, the way that the tops of these panels connect together, the way the lines of the ceiling connect together. So if we pop back over here, these converging lines coming together at a point, that's converging lines. Which means unusual detail is when we do the one thing that is weird and different and does not belong with all of the rest. If we go to my lovely example, it's this dude right here. He's not like his friends, and it's not an opposite, it's just a different weird thing that you pay attention. If you were making this painting here, and all of a sudden this dude over here transformed into a giant rubber duck, you would pay attention to the giant rubber duck because it is different and weird considering everything else going on around it. So yeah, those are the 5 ways to create emphasis. Hopefully you will use that to create a spot of emphasis in your upcoming artwork. Have a great day.